So I've got some shooting bullets in my game now. It's just working pretty well, unless I want to change what direction the bullets go in, because right now they're always coming out of whatever direction my player's facing, which ends up being a bit frustrating when you're trying to aim at things. So the fix itself is pretty straightforward. We're just going to make them shoot in the direction of the camera instead of the direction of the player. But it's going to feel a little strange unless we also change where the camera is positioned. So I'm going to go to my player scene and move the camera to face over the player's shoulder. I've been fiddling around with what we need to move, and I've discovered that if we move the pivot, it looks really strange and our entire game just sort of pivots around a random point in space. And if we move the camera, it has no effect at all, and the spring arm just keeps snapping it back to the same spot. So what we want to move is the spring arm. I'm going to get the spring arm transform and just bring it about a meter to either side of my player. So if I move it 1 meter this way, watch that in game, I'm now looking over the player's right shoulder, and if I move it -1 meter, looking over the player's left shoulder. And now that we're kind of looking over the shoulder, we probably don't need the camera to be quite so far away. So I'm going to change the spring length back to 1 meter as well. Now my camera is only 1 meter away from the player, and it looks pretty nice. It looks like I've got a sort of over the shoulder camera happening. Next thing I'm going to add before we fix up the bullets is I'm going to put a crosshair in the middle of the screen so I know where I'm going to be aiming. It's a nice and straightforward thing to add. We're going to go to our 2D scene, main 2D, where I've got score and health, and we're going to add another label. It's just going to be a normal label. Create, and I'm going to call this label crosshair. And the trick I'm going to use to make this what I want is just give it some text of a plus character. The way to center a label in the screen is to go down to the control section where there's layout, and I'm going to change this anchors preset to from top left. That's actually this green X. I'm going to change it from top left to center, and then it will put my crosshair right in the middle of the screen. But you can see my text box is still a bit misaligned, so I'm also going to change horizontal alignment to center and vertical alignment to center. And then my plus is right in the very, very middle of my screen, and I've got a crosshair. It's looking like a kind of first person, not quite first person shooter, third person shooter. The bullets are still following my player though, so the fix for this one is really just one line of code, but we need a reference to the camera as well. I'm going to go to my player script. I've got a reference to a few things around the camera, but I haven't got one to the camera yet. So I'm going to drag my camera into the scene, hold down control. Got a reference to my camera now, and I'll find where I'm creating my bullets. It's a lot of code now. Here's our bullets are being created, and we're setting the bullet direction to the player mesh basis. Instead, we're just going to change this to the camera 3D basis, and it's going to be the global basis this time, because it's where our camera is in the entire world. So that's the entire change. I'm using my camera to shoot now. Still going to be Z, that's forwards, and the negative at the front for away instead of towards the camera. And I click play, and my bullets should always fire towards my crosshair. It's looking pretty nice. You'll see if they collide with something, they don't quite make it all the way to the crosshair. But if they go out into space, they're reaching the crosshair. It's as good as we can get for now. Trying to make it always hit the ground at the crosshair is much harder. It requires some things called ray tracing. But for now, this is pretty nice. Always firing towards the middle of my screen. Should be going toward the crosshair. So that's my nice sort of pseudo first-person shooter in Godot.